Are you ready to see something cool?
Hi team. Today's video is a bit different to the ones I normally do, mainly because I'm actually in it. And on that note, yes, I am wearing makeup, but I do have an ulterior motive behind this. Well, two actually. The first being that I've been up since 4 a.m. for no reason other than the fact that I couldn't sleep, and then took about a good 4 hours trying to edit the actual painting process that you're about to see, because I had so many hours of footage and my laptop crashed twice, so I am on the edge and I needed to look and feel pretty. But also I wanted you to know that I am capable of looking like a human being, because you're about to see me in painting attire and it looks less than flattering and I look less than presentable. So just so we're clear, I can look okay sometimes. But anyway, earlier this year I painted a mural on my wall. You can see a glimpse of it here. And I'm kind of upset by the fact that I didn't actually film the process, not for any other reason than I thought it would be cool to look back on it. As a result, and because I never make the same mistake twice, I decided to film the process of me painting a mural on my closet door, because late one night I had a urge for some reason that couldn't be ignored, and that is the time where I make all my poor life choices, and I decided to commit to painting a Studio Ghibli inspired scene on my closet door, which is the process you're about to see. If you're only really interested in the result, there will be timestamps in the description, and I'll try to do those little bookmark things so you can just skip to that and see what it looks like. But otherwise, sit back, grab a snack. We may be here a while, or in the alternative, you can play this while you do something a bit more productive. And as always, if you do, feel free to drop a comment down below telling me what you did while watching this video. And let's hand this over to voiceover me. Okay, so off screen I did some planning thumbnails, so I had some idea of what I was doing, and then I painted a warm base layer on the closet door. This layer was a mix of acrylic paint and gesso, so that I could prime the closet to make sure that the paint sticks to the door as well as possible, which, if you keep watching, turns out to be a bit of a fruitless effort. You'll know what I mean later on. Regardless, the next step is obviously to sketch the artwork onto the door. When I was doing my wall mural, I actually did this by projecting my sketch onto the wall and tracing on top of it to make sure that it wasn't too wonky or lopsided, especially because it was a large castle, and so not only was it big, and it's hard to understand scale when you're working on a big piece, like not hard to understand, but it's hard to see it when you're working on it, but it was also a lot more intricate, so it was nice to be able to just project a blown up version of a smaller thing I'd done, just to make sure that I put everything where it was supposed to be. However, for the size and dimensions of the closet, the projector wasn't working the way I wanted it to. It just wasn't projecting how I wanted it to project. So instead, I tried to draw a grid on both my sketch and on my wall, and tried to make sure they both matched up to make the drawing process easier, so I could match up what goes into what square. It didn't help very much at all, but the thought was there, so it is what it is. I also apologize that you can't actually see the sketch very well at first because of the lighting and the fact that I was using a pencil, but it does show up when I actually start painting, mainly because I didn't learn from my first wall mural and still thought using a lead pencil would be a good idea. And then I tried to fix it by making sure that the pencil wouldn't smudge by using a spray fixative on the lead pencil. That instead just smudged the pencil like crazy and made my room smell really, really bad. And that's why you can see the pencil better later, because it really, really smudged. So in summary, this painting process really started out so well and it kept getting better. Either way, when I started painting, the first thing that I did was just block in a bunch of colours, all of which will change later, just so I can visualise where everything will be, which begins what I like to call the ugly phase of the painting, and it will stay like this for entirely too long. The first thing I painted was the sky, and I actually wanted to make it Starry Night inspired, so there's a lot of small lines involved that I'm not sure actually show up well on the video, but did actually end up looking quite good. I was really concerned for a moment because it was not looking super fantastic, but that's really just how the painting process goes. Most of the time while you're doing it, it doesn't look that great and you're filled with doubt, but it comes together, it really does, if you keep pulling through. I'm going to interrupt this painting process to show you all a mistake I have made. I forgot how close I was to the ceiling. Oh boy. In painting the windows, I wanted them to actually look like they had lights inside them and that they were glowing and moving, so that's why it at first looks kind of splotchy and all over the place, but I promise when I put the window panes in, it actually does look good. I'm very happy with the outcome of it. Here's the thing with the painting process, it tends to look bad for about 90% of the time. That's just how it is, which is why you really need to have a strong vision of what you want to paint and stick it out until you get there. Just touching base before I start working on the piece for the day. Mainly just to update with how it's going. So I've been working on it for a while now and hopefully the footage is looking good. I'm not sure, I haven't really checked the footage, but yeah, we'll see. That's the least of my concerns right now. One of the biggest concerns I have right now is the sheer size of it. The biggest problem with working on something this big is that I'm very tempted to just give up. I'm about a quarter of the way through, so not even finished the bathhouse, and I've still got a lot left to go, so it's a bit of a struggle to get through it. Like, I thought working on this one was a slog, but that's about half the size of this one, so yeah. We'll see about that. I'm also torn about a couple of things. I wanted to have some more Studio Ghibli Easter eggs in here. Like, I wanted here to be the scarecrow from Howl's Moving Castle, and I wanted to put the flame demon from Howl's Moving Castle up there, but now I'm not sure because it feels like it would be crowded, and I don't know, I'm just going to leave those to the side for now and try and work on finishing the colours for here, because that's a bit of a mess that I need to get through and fix up, and then we'll see how that goes.
I'm used to give all I have. I'm used to get nothing.
I have a problem and I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. So, see this? This is because I put tape down, like masking tape, that I normally use when I paint things. And as I was peeling it off, it stuck to the layer I'd painted. But instead of like, how do I explain this? So sometimes when you do put masking tape down, it can lift the layers below. But there's something about how the paint went down, and it's just this brown paint mixture that I've made, because it didn't do this to any of the stuff underneath, not any of the sky or anything. It's lifted it up, and because acrylic paint is more like plasticky, it's lifted up as like a chunk. Wait, let me rotate my camera. It's lifted it up in like pieces, and here's the clean closet underneath. So I don't know what I'm going to do about this. I'm tempted to just leave it and come back to it and then try and figure it out.
It is different. Sometimes I can't understand how it can be so hard to stay out of pain. But with you, everything has changed. Even though we both stay the same. Would you call me on the midnight train? Would you come over when nothing's right? Would you hold me tight in the rain? Even as we're having a fight. Say you, just say you.
Alright, hello. Just touching base again before I spend the rest of today working on this once more. I probably have about over 15, almost 20 hours of just raw footage of me working on this dang thing, and we're only about halfway through. The good news is that the rest of the piece is less detailed, so it should take less time. It's just a lot of work. So, hopefully we can make this happen soonish. In terms of that little scraped up bit I showed you guys earlier on in the video, I've decided, since the archway is supposed to look all messy and rugged, it didn't really matter that there was that tone up bit. I just painted over it up here, and you can like barely tell. So cool that, fix that. Got some more things to do. I'm still torn on those little Easter egg characters, so we'll see what happens with those. I figured I'd just finish everything first and then add them in if I wanted to. But yeah, it doesn't look exactly like the bathhouse is supposed to look like. That's more intentional than anything else because it's so big and I don't have time to spend looking at reference images. So basically I have this little setup here where my reference photo is just on a book and I look down at it every now and then to make sure I'm on the right track, but I don't adhere to it too closely, and it definitely shows, but who cares? It's more meant to be inspired by than anything else. But yeah, so let's get back into it and hopefully make some good progress, because it feels like I keep painting the same thing and not making any progress, which is incredibly frustrating. But yeah, it's also very, very hot today. We're in the middle of Australian summer, and the hardest thing about filming and painting is that it's so hot and I don't want to do it. But I also want to finish this so bad. And also the heat and the dry weather makes the paint dry faster, which is fantastic, but boy, is it a struggle. If you're ever wondering what I'm listening to while I paint, it's actually audiobooks from Audible. Hashtag not sponsored, but would easily sell myself out for free ebooks. Hint, hint. Or just free books, actually. I'd prefer physical copies, but not while painting. I find it's just nice to have something to listen to while I work, and I enjoy reading, so it's two birds with one stone. Okay, so it is currently the 25th of December. My recordings for these go back to the 6th of December being the first one. I'm hoping this will be the last day that I work on this, but who knows. The plan from here though is that I'm gonna add in some small little critters. I know earlier on I was saying that I was torn about it, but I think I figured out where I want to put everything and who I want to put where. So I'm going to have Gigi from Kiki's delivery service. Oh, I'm looking in my camera and it's reversed, so I can't see which way I need to point because the way I think I need to point is incorrect and I struggle with direction anyway. But yeah, so Gigi will be sitting here. Here we go. Gigi will be sitting here. And because of the lighting will be coming from behind Gigi. It just needs to be a silhouette, which is excellent and simple and not too busy. And then I'm thinking of doing the little Kodama from Princess Mononoke just chilling here, just a couple of little sprites. And then here we go, getting the hang of this, just somewhere on the bridge, I'm gonna put a little Casper from House Moving Castle. And then of course at the bottom, you saw the beginning of it, is Totoro, which was basically the hardest part of the whole painting because it really made me realize that I straight up just struggle with and don't understand symmetry, so that's a bit of a nightmare, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's get on it. Alright, are you ready? You ready to see it? Okay. I will probably do a slow pan upwards. The lighting today isn't very conducive to good views of what I've done, but you know, I'll still try and get a video of it, and then I'll add in some photos at the end to show you different details and stuff.
Me siento feliz porque si no soy yo, pues quién. Todos caen a mi lado. El freno lo arranqué. Me siento feliz porque yo no dudo mi power. Te burlaste de mí, se acabó. Trata de festejar, celebramos el bienestar. Tantas estrellas brillan, quiero un carro que corra más. Nada me rompe, no, nada me rompe.
Because I'm a bad YouTuber, I almost forgot to record an outro, but thank you for watching. Regardless of if you made it all the way through the video or just skipped to the end, it's just really cool to me that there are a lot of people who have been seeing my art recently, especially since my first video, my sketchbook tour, just hit 10k the other day, which is nuts. So I'd like to thank you guys for that as well, and an extra big thank you to my 430 or so subscribers, because that's a lot of people. It's a lot more followers than I've ever gotten anywhere else, so there's that. So as always, if you like the video, drop a like, comment something down below, and subscribe if you want. But otherwise, stay safe and treat yourselves kindly. Bye team.